All righty, good evening, everyone. It is 7:34. I want to welcome you all to the Marlborough Public School Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 25th. I shall call the meeting to order at 7:35. If I can have all you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, that would be great.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you much. I just want to remind everyone in the audience and at home that we are being taped and streamed by WMCT-TV, so thank you very much. So we'll dive right in to the superintendent's reports.
Thank you and good evening, everybody. Great seeing you all. We have a very exciting agenda this evening, and we are going to start with a couple of very special guests who are joining us both from Marlborough High School and from Quinsigamond Community College. We're going to take a few minutes and talk a little bit about our early college program that we have at MHS. I do think, after having spent some time with both Liz and Veronica, who we'll hear from in just a moment, that we have quite a jewel there at Marlborough High School. Something that definitely needs to be shouted from the rooftops as far as the opportunities that it offers our students. And so with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to both Liz, Veronica, and Principal Serpino. And we're just putting the slide deck up on the screen here. You get it? And you have a hard copy of the slide deck in front of you this evening as well. Veronica, do you want to
Sure.
tee us up with some introductions?
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. My name is Veronica Guay, and I'm the Executive Director of High School Dual Enrollment Programs and Partnerships at Quinsigamond Community College. So in higher education, we like really long titles. So yes, Executive Director there, and I am thrilled to be here. Thank you, Superintendent Falco, for inviting me. This is really a celebration of what you all in Marlborough have done. I am proud to be co-presenting with Liz. Where is she? Right here she is. There she is. Yeah. And, you know, I enjoyed putting these slides together to share with you all. Let me know if you can't hear me, but I hope I come through as wanting you all to know that the epicenter of the work is at Marlborough High School, and it's excellence in instruction and community engagement. So, Liz, I'll let you. Liz wanted to. Just the second slide, I think, is you.
I knew that OneDrive, which turned out to be like 75 drives when we were trying to figure out how to do this, was going to fail us in the end. So it's a pleasure to be here tonight. I know a lot of you, I don't know all of you, and I know that many of you are familiar with our early college trajectory over the years. We're so excited to be able to present what the program looks like today. These slides are doing their own thing. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah, I don't want it to do any of
Yes.
that. Yeah, it's
Just give it to a tool. He'll figure it out.
I'm gonna get right back to slide number 3.
So our partnership in its current incarnation goes back to 2016. Prior to 2016, we did experiment with some other models for early college. Some of them were on campus at the college, and that was prohibitive because of transportation. Some of them occurred outside of the school day, and that was prohibitive because of scheduling. And some of them occurred entirely in the online context, and that was not supportive enough for our students. So the model that we adopted in 2016, which is the concurrent enrollment model, solved all of those issues and removed all of those barriers in one fell swoop.
So that is kind of an important point that we are going to really stress here this evening. There we go. If I could just get, perfect. So the first thing I wanted you to know is that at Quinsigamond Community College, from the top down, early college work, dual enrollment, and concurrent enrollment are part of our strategic plan. We are very invested in serving and partnering with our community high schools. So I am happy to say that right from President Pedraja through the reporting line to the Vice President of Academic Affairs, the Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs, the academic deans, my supervisor, the Dean of College and Career Pathways, and then me. But the critical thing here is the involvement of all of these academic people who are there to ensure the quality and the academic rigor of the product that's delivered to your students at Marlboro High School every day. So that oversight exists, it's strong, and everybody, again, from the top down is very aware. Concurrent enrollment is a unique model. So if we could go, you're the best. Okay, excellent. So when I say concurrent enrollment, please think of early college or dual enrollment as a big category. Dual enrollment is the big category. Those courses can be delivered in a variety of ways. Concurrent enrollment is where you are for early college Marlboro. You are right in the high school day, as Liz explained. So we are able to reach your students. These classes are on their high school schedule. Your teachers have been certified to teach our classes. We have other partners. Early College Worcester is a combination of.
Veronica, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if people are watching at home, they can't hear you unless you talk in the microphone.
Unless I stay right here.
You can-
Okay.
you
Can I still
carry-
talk with my hands?
Sure, and you can
Okay.
carry the microphone over with you. You just have to talk in it. It doesn't have to sit there.
Got you.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll stay right here. So that was important to just this picture of how it works in the high school day. These are your teachers. There they go. Okay, so we have Amy Veralt, who is teaching English 101 and English 102, Composition 1 and Composition 2. Kara Manzelli, who teaches Intro to Psychology, Intro to Sociology, and First Year Experience. Our newest concurrent enrollment instructor from Marlboro High School is Sarah Murphy, and she's teaching World History 2 and World History 3. And then we have Stacy Foulis, who is a mathematics instructor in topics in mathematics and statistics. Your instructors are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. And I can tell you the academic deans want them to work for QCC after. So they're amazing. Next slide. Okay. So this doesn't work unless we make strong connections, really by academic discipline. And that's what I am hoping that everybody comes away with, that we have established a really good learning community here with full-time and oftentimes department chairs supporting your high school teachers. That's how we ensure that the coursework is Quinsigamond Community College level coursework, the academic rigor. We focus on the student learning outcomes. And what we need to do for our accreditation is make sure that whether the course is delivered in Marlboro, in Worcester, Southbridge, many of our partners, that it's the same rigor and it's the same course. So that's why it's very important that we have these connections from our full-time faculty at Quinsig who partner with your high school teachers.
So Veronica put together just a snapshot going back to 2001 of our fall and spring credits accrued by our students. You can see that there was a big leap last year. I've been giving a lot of thought to why that is. I think our population overall in the high school was larger. I know it was. And we also ran one more section of English, one more section of math, and one more section of psych and soc. So we were able to, once those extra sections were in place, we were able to fill them up. So it does look like a pretty significant leap right there. And I think that is in part why. I did take a look back at all of our credit trackers over time and added everything up since 2016. When we cross the threshold at the end of this semester, our students since 2016 will have earned over 6,000 credits, which is pretty awesome. And Veronica alluded to our courses when she talked about our teachers. We offer Composition 1 and Composition 2, which create a one-year sequencing for our students, but actually offer 2 courses worth of credits at QCC. We offer an Intro to Soc and an Intro to Psych, which we are encouraging students to take in the same year. They don't have to in the same way as English 101, 102, but that's our strong encouragement. We offer a first-year experience course, which is sort of a survey, self-exploration, career, and college readiness class that is very valuable to our students and also is open to anybody. There are no prereqs for that class, so where we can choose the most accessible version of something, we do. We offer a sequencing in math, which Stacy teaches. The fall is topics in math, and the spring is statistics. That's Math 121 and Math 122. Again, that creates a year-long sequencing from the high school perspective, but it is worth 2 courses at Quinsigamond Community College. And this year, we're really excited to have onboarded Sarah Murphy, who's teaching World History 2 and World History 3, another sequential set, 6 college credits. Courses that we're considering, and we actually did try to offer this year, Spanish 1 and 2. We couldn't quite find the right enough students, and we're going to try again. I was a language teacher and a student who would have liked that opportunity, so I don't know if there are some students like that among us who might want to take Spanish 1 and 2. Mathematics for STEM, which I think is mathematics, for example, for business, or mathematics for technicians who might be interested in a very focused kind of math. We've discussed management, accounting, and economics. We've discussed non-lab sciences. The lab part of a science makes it prohibitive in our school day, but a non-lab science could work. And then one of the really exciting ideas is to offer native language courses, which Veronica might be able to speak a little bit more about, but that would really be able to capitalize on the wonderful diversity that exists in our schools. So we have a lot of great things going on, and we have a lot of great things on the horizon.
So I just want, could we, not to drag away, just one slide. So this is a sequence of
If we
9.
could use the microphone, please. Thank you. Sorry.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
This is a sequence of 9 courses, which represents 27 college credits. So if you think that, full-time is 12 to 15 credits a semester, so that's a good kind of chunk right there. Okay, I promise I'll stay here. All right, so I shared with you that early college and dual enrollment programming is a strategic initiative of the college. We are seeking accreditation for our concurrent enrollment programs. And this accreditation, I'll go through a couple of slides with you, but the purpose of this is it's a format to force us, a rubric, if you will, that will force us to focus on student learning outcomes, on the transferability of the credit, have a statement of equivalency from your classroom to ours, gathering evidence, classroom visits, and syllabi review. Okay, so we are going for our accreditation from a national organization. So NACEP is the National Alliance of Concurrent Enrollment Partnerships. And this is the only program in the country that can lend accreditation to concurrent enrollment programming. Thank you. As we all know, accreditation is the language of education, right? It's that third-party stamp of approval. And we're, if you want to go to the next slide. So this shows that NACEP is nationwide. Massachusetts is behind in concurrent enrollment and dual enrollment course offerings compared to the rest of the country. When we get our accreditation, we will be only the second college in New England to be accredited. There is one college accredited now, and that's UConn. So we are hoping to become the second. Our letter of intent to the accreditor went out today, and we will be spending the spring semester gathering evidence and artifacts and talking about you and our other concurrent enrollment partners. So wish us luck. I hope to be in front of you again to announce that we received it, but it's a lot of work and it's well worth it. I think there's one more slide on accreditation. You know, the biggest reason we want to do this is to speak to the integrity of the credits. There are institutions out there who will frown upon taking transfer credits from a student who earned the credits while in high school. That's a reality. It happens. This stamp of approval, we think, will make these credits more cash and carry, if you will, and more transferable for your students. Now, within Massachusetts, we're all adhering to mass transfer. So within the state system, these credits are alive and well and will travel. It's when we're outside of mass transfer, then what? What is going to give us the caliber that we need for your student to have those credits with them?
Okay, so I wanted to give you a sense of who our students are this fall. I couldn't bring them all with me. Room's not big enough. There are 111 of them. There are 76 seniors and 35 juniors. And this is just a little snapshot of some of who is involved in our cohort. So 53% of our students, when we look in Aspen, are identified as gateway students. 46% are first language not English. So we know that there are lots of students who have exited the English language program. These students are participating in and thriving in our early college program, and we're really excited about that. We have 5% of our current students who are on IEPs and 16% of our students who have 504 plans with us. I have more information. I picked what I thought might be useful for you to know tonight. And this is a snapshot of a visit that we took to Quinsigamond Community College in the fall. We like to get all of our students who are new to early college to campus because we want them to see the institution where they're getting their credits. We want them to understand what it means to be a student in two places at once. It's very easy for them to forget that they are fulfilling, college credits and high school credits, that they are duly enrolled and they have two different identities at the same time. So we take a tour of campus, we get student IDs, so they all have photo IDs. So we say, if you're going to do the work, you might as well get the discount. So they're excited about that. And then we also take some time to meet with the Office of Transfer and Articulation Services, which is a gem of an office. Our students learn not only that it's important for them to get the credits, but what can they do with them? The value and the applicability of these credits is not to be believed. So they come away with a really good sense of the credit landscape in college, what it means to complete a freshman year, what it means to complete a sophomore year, how you transfer credits to a four-year institution, how you save money doing so. I think it's great, and I think we'll have their office come at some point and do some presenting to us just professionally, because the opportunities are really, really staggering. And then I was trying to think about what I could share with you that I think makes the early college experience distinct. And I think that there is, people talk about different kinds of learning and intelligence, and I think there's an early college quotient. I think there are some really, really important things that our students are learning that are independent of discipline. They are learning English and how to write, and they are learning statistics, and they are learning psychology. But here are 5 things that I think that they are learning no matter what they're taking. They're learning about the rigor and the pacing and the cadence of a college semester. So their classwork is as rigorous, to Veronica's point, as it would be on Quinn Sig's campus. They are doing this work in the context of a 15-week semester. We are mimicking exactly the academic calendar at QCC. They don't have a protracted timeline. They have a shorter timeline within which to finish their work. They are working 15 hours a week in classes. 3 hours a week in classes for over 15 weeks. That's 45 hours. So we have designated instructional hours, and then the other balance of the time that they might be in class is supportive, which, when I talked earlier about it being a barrier for our students when the classes were entirely online. So they're in class, and they do have this piece of support to help them along the way. And the cadence of the college semester. What does it mean to have an add drop period? What is the difference between dropping a class during add drop and dropping it when you would take a W? So all of this language that I think sometimes in a guidance office, or maybe if you have kids in college, feels familiar to you, isn't familiar. And it's important that our students understand what all of this means. Learning management system awareness and flexibility. We are a Google Classroom school at Marlborough High School. QCC is a Blackboard environment. Blackboard is a different learning management system. Our students must use it, and our professors, our instructors must use it. So we onboard our students in Blackboard at the beginning of the semester. They are expected to access it, to access their work there, and to post their work there, to discussion posts in Blackboard. So it's good for them to flex some muscles outside of the familiar Google environment. I say that as somebody who couldn't do a OneDrive situation up here tonight, but it's really important to get good at different systems. So you know that. This is an amazing point of exposure for our students. Our students who are the students that I referred to who have accommodations with us in high school, those accommodations come sort of through the school and to the students without the students really needing to initiate that process. It's a very different landscape, the accommodations and accessibility landscape in college. So our students who are in our QCC classes go through the accommodations request process with Quinn Sigmund's Office of Student Accessibility Services. And they receive their letter of accommodations, which they then need to share with each of their teachers. They're walking through this student-driven process before their peers, before they need to. And I think the familiarity with this is going to be enormous when they do land on whatever college campus they land on. They have some transcript savvy, like there's like an alphabet soup situation that goes on with transcripts, like W and X and I and P and IP and all sorts of things. So, they're aware that they have a transcript. They're aware of what that means. We say it tells your academic story. You need to take care of it, right? You're activating this transcript and you need to take care of it and know what it means. And then finally, I'm going to let a student voice end the presentation about the value and applicability of college credits. We sort of always knew, and we always say, well, this is just going to be great for students when they leave us. How could it not be? But we reached out to a student who is at Worcester State right now, who came through our early college program. I should also say, before you listen to him, he also received the Seal of Biliteracy. And so he had the power of combining early college and the Seal of Biliteracy. He was also part of our One Goal program, which is for another night, but it is an initiative that aims to expose our students who might not otherwise have the opportunity to a variety of college campuses and to the process of developing their aspirations and how to meet their goals. So I'm going to let Joao Ramos's voice carry us to the end here, and then we can take some questions. So, well, if I got the video to embed, then I'm going to do that, but yep.
And I'm studying criminal State University. I wanted to share how early college helped me because it truly changed my whole experience in college. When I graduated from Auburn High, I already had many college credits, and because of that, I started Worcester State ahead of most of the basic classes. I didn't have to spend my first year doing all the usual prerequisite classes. Instead, I was able to go straight into the core courses for my major and my minor. Early college also helped me to save almost a full year of college tuition, and that's a huge amount of money, and it made college much more affordable for me and my family. It also saved me a lot of time because I didn't have to take extra semester or delay my progress. And I would say another big benefit was confidence, because when I first started Worcester State, I already knew what college classes felt like. I understood how to read the syllabus, for example, how to talk to a professor, how deadline works, how to manage my own schedule. And because of early college credits, the transition from high school to college was much easier and much less stressful. I think having those credits also gave me more freedom, because I had room in my schedule to take classes to support my future career and even explore the subjects. I wasn't stuck taking only the required courses because I already took at high school. For me, early college was much more than earning credits. It was a head start that helped me move faster, save money, feel prepared for real college life, and I truly believe it set me on the right path toward my goals in criminal justice and pre-law. Thank you for giving me a chance to share my experience with early college credits, and I just want to tell you guys are doing a great job with those early college classes at high school. It really helped me, and I'm pretty sure it's going to support a lot of families and students at Auburn High School. Thank you for your time.
He's an awesome kid. He's an awesome kid. You can see he's an awesome young man.
We could have just let him talk.
I know.
And not bothered you with any of that other stuff. So we are at the end of our presentation, but happy to answer any questions if time allows, if you have any.
Sure. Questions?
Yep, go ahead. I'll go after you.
Thank you. The presentation's amazing, but the program is phenomenal. And it's great to actually hear more about it, because we have our own ideas about the little snippets that we've gotten over the time, but to hear it cohesively put together is very helpful. So a couple questions I do have. You started to mention some of the partner high schools, Worcester and Southbridge. How many partner high schools are you currently working with?
Oh my goodness, we offer a total of almost 90 courses a semester. So that represents early college. Worcester is actually all 7 high schools.
Okay.
And it's the largest program in the state. Marlboro would be our second largest program. We have Southbridge, and then we have partnerships with other schools that is contract work. We very much are focused, though, on this concurrent enrollment model for the reasons that Liz shared. This is how we break through barriers, and we reach those who might be thinking, I don't know if I can afford college, or I don't know if I'm ready for college. Am I gonna take this chance on myself? And that's why, the first statement on the first slide was building student confidence. And I loved hearing that from this young gentleman here. So our growth, we're incredibly busy. The Vice President of Academic Affairs wants us to focus solely on those programs that are offered within the high schools within the high school day. So I think we'll be limiting other partnerships and growing more concurrent.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Then another question I guess I would have is trying to understand about that transfer of credits, because I think that's something which for me, I've always tried to think about how to expand that to other students. And also, I would say, create awareness with students and families about the opportunity, right? And how do we splice that? So I'm just kind of curious about, I mean, the accreditation, obviously, that's a main
That's going to
route.
be huge. I cannot emphasize what a stamp of approval that will lend to the program, because beneath this, I was sharing with Liz when we were waiting to come in, the amount of work that's going into the accreditation process is incredible. But it's so worth it, because it makes us reflect and it makes us understand what somebody whose job is to review a transcript is what's going to sway that person, right? And to take these credits. And so the fact that we're mass transfer is a huge step. So within the state of Massachusetts, back in 2013, 2014, Commissioner Carlos Santiago said, enough of this silliness. We're going to align curriculum between the community college system and the four-year systems. We spent years doing that, and I can tell you that English 101 at Quincy is the same English 101 at Bridgewater, at Worcester State, et cetera. So you can rest assured about that. That's the mass transfer block. What you're talking about is if somebody goes elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
And so the best way for us to handle that is with this accreditation. The transfer of credit decision is in the receiving, it rests with the receiving institution. Part of our job is to encourage students to advocate for themselves, though. I've done it a couple of times for students. I will call a provost office. I have no problem doing that and talking about that. So there's a lot to this. I can assure you that really is my number one job, is to ensure the academic integrity of this product. Now, keep in mind, grades matter. You need a C- or better to transfer those credits. So we do no harm. Somebody gets a D in English 101, they're not taking English 102. We're full stop right there. So that's probably the, second layer, if you will.
Yeah. And thank you. I mean, I think that's part of where I was going with that, is trying to understand where we've talked about Choose MHS, is making this a big selling point to families early on so that they can understand just what this young man was articulating about the opportunities presented in many ways from a life standpoint, but also financially, and getting a start on things. So it's just interesting to hear about how it works with you all, how he or she can take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And I think that's just something for MHS to really beat the drums with the families early on, that they can see this opportunity. So, thank you.
Yeah.
I also think that we need to do a better job of capturing these voices in a way that we can share them with families. So I feel inspired having asked for this clip and getting it, for some stories, because oftentimes those stories from students speak really strongly to prospective students. So.
110%. I mean, taking this clip, obviously with their approval of putting it out there, and making sure you go down to the middle school and you show them this with the families being able to see it, so that the parents can say, oh, look at all this money that could be saved because they could start college right here, especially right now where things are financially tight. It's going to help them to understand the opportunities that we have at Marlborough High School. So thank
We
you.
have a recruiting staff in my office, and so they will gladly join all of you. Politically, the scenery in Massachusetts is ready for this. There's Commissioner, Desi, Commissioner for Higher Ed. They have made this statement that, across the state, we've got about 20,000 students in early college. They want to see that grow to 100,000 students. So there's no way that's going to happen unless we do it during the school day with partners like you. And Superintendent DeFalco and I had a conversation about what about more immediate career entry coursework, and how can we do that, and what does that look like, right? We don't want to get ahead of our skis, so to speak, but we want to have those conversations as well.
Thank you.
Actually, I was gonna, that was what my question was, because I noticed on your faculty liaison list that you had the professor of healthcare and an art professor. I'm just curious about, in keeping with the Choose MHS and capturing students who may not, may be more oriented in different
Yeah.
either career paths or interests. Like I had an art kid, who wound up going to art school. So, to be able to offer more as we expand the program, to be able to offer some,
Immediate career entry.
yeah.
So we could really use your help with that. I mean, that is a community college's primary mission, is transfer and immediate career entry. What I can tell you is that for the programs that are designated, DESE has stated that the credits must be mass transfer credits. So where we need you all to advocate and raise your hand and just say, look, we're a model program. We can tell you right now, we need to go beyond mass transfer. You can't undervalue learning, right? And if we get somebody into the field and working and making a higher wage, and they go on to a 4-year school, they're ready. So that's where we could really use your help. Sometimes we get drowned out by the 4 years, the big dogs. They're 4, we're 2. But your population is ready.
Anything else?
Yeah, I would like to maybe follow up the conversation with you at another date, because I sit on the board of MASC, the Mass Association of School Committees, and we need to know more about this. So it's great. Thank you.
Anything else? No. Thank you for your time and your presentation tonight. Yeah, much appreciated. A lot
Thank you
of
so
great work.
much.
So thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving to everyone. I'm
to
going
you
to
and
take my
yours.
leave, but I am happy to come back anytime, and my best to you all.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.
Please continue.
The celebrations continue, and the spotlight on Marlborough High School remains. This evening, I have the distinct honor and pleasure of introducing 2 of our Massachusetts Association of School Superintendent Excellence in Scholarship recipients. They are both with us this evening. I'm going to take delight in embarrassing both of them because we asked each of their guidance counselors to just write a little summary about their reason for being nominated for this prestigious award. So I'm going to start with Shayla Ramon, who has joined us this evening. And this was put together by Shayla's guidance counselor, Ms. Wayman. And so Ms. Wayman shares, and I'm going to read this verbatim, if that's okay, so that the community can hear just how amazing our 2 recipients are. Ms. Wayman shares that it is a great pleasure that we recognize Shayla Ramon as class of 2026 recipient of the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents Award for Academic Excellence. Shayla is a true leader at Marlborough High School and a dedicated member of our community. During her years at MHS, Shayla has been a member of the National Honor Society, the National Business Honor Society, the vice president of the Business Professionals of America Club, the secretary of the class of 2026, a 2-year captain of the varsity lacrosse team, the recipient of the Dartmouth Book Award, the recipient of the Frederick Douglass and Susan B. Anthony Award, and numerous faculty awards over her high school career. Outside of MHS, Shayla is incredibly involved in her church community. She serves as the first-time guest leader, welcoming new members to the church, and also is the lead of service coordinating for the church community. Shayla has also held a part-time job, I have no idea how, by the way, but held a part-time job for the past 2 years at Trombetta's Farm and spent the last summer interning at a startup accounting firm to gain experience in the finance field. Shayla has successfully completed 4 advanced placement courses and is recognized by the College Board as an AP Scholar. She is currently enrolled in 3 additional AP courses. during her senior year at Marlborough High School. Shayla is currently ranked second in her class and has a cumulative grade point average of 4.9. Shayla is planning to major in economics in college next year and has an incredibly bright future ahead of her. Congratulations to Shayla for her past, present, and future accomplishments. In a moment, I'll ask Shayla and our second recipient to maybe get a nice photo with the school committee. We saw our second recipient in action this evening as he swiftly responded to our technology needs, showing leadership in a moment's notice. Mr. Carrick Rogers is Atul's guidance counselor, and he had some very kind words to share about Atul Mador. He is an exceptionally driven, intellectually curious, and charismatic student whose leadership and impact extend beyond the classroom. He is not only a standout for MHS, but also a highly respected figure in the broader Marlborough community. Atul is a truly remarkable individual, an extraordinary talent who deserves recognition for his many achievements. Academically, Atul stands at the top of his class, currently ranked first among 250 students. He has already completed 7 advanced placement courses and is on track to finish an impressive total of 12 by the time he graduates. His passion for mathematics and science is both deep and authentic, and he aspires to pursue a double major in applied mathematics and computer science. This academic ambition is well matched by his performance, as evidenced by his perfect score in the mathematics on the PSATs. Beyond his academic excellence, Atul is an active and engaged member of the school community. We're going to actually hear a little bit more about that shortly, Dr. Skaza, in your report. He serves as president of both the class of 2026 and the Robotics Club, and is an integral member of the Student Advisory Committee and Best Buddies program. Under his leadership, the Robotics Club qualified for the World Championship, a distinction achieved by only a select few teams across Massachusetts. In addition to his rigorous academic and extracurricular commitments, Atul also manages a part-time job, which exemplifies his strong work ethic and time management skills. In conclusion, Atul Mador deserves the highest of recommendations. He is an outstanding student with a strong moral compass, a supportive family, and a relentless drive to excel. Atul possesses the intellect, leadership, and character to thrive after cementing his legacy here at Marlborough High School, all while making him an ideal candidate for the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents Excellence Award. Congratulations, Atul. So, Mr. Sapina, I don't know if you want to share the Atul. We got you flowers, buddy. I'm sorry. You can give them to somebody else if you don't want them. We didn't know what. We got flowers for each of you. If you want to come up, and I'm not sure how we typically would do photos with the school committee, but it might be a nice. Yeah.
We do. We take pictures all
Have
the
them
time.
stand up front.
Sure. Yeah.
So if the two, Shayla, if you and Atul want to come up front.
And
I'm
you
gonna give
didn't mention that Atul is our student rep on the school committee as well for the public.
Where do you should do photos over here?
Yeah, we can do it. Okay, you all want to come to the front?
We're coming out.
Good. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to turn it the other way. Hang on. 1, 2. Perfect. Thank you so much. Congratulations. That's good. Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone at home, for your patience with that. So, and congratulations to the two of you. Yes, exceptional students.
Excellent. Moving on, we are going to talk just for a brief moment about some elementary enrichment opportunities that we have coming up. But actually, it is also going to be referenced in Dr. Skaza's report this evening as well. But I want to just share how excited we are about both kind of the academic opportunities that we're going to be offering our students, some of which actually will be offered by our high school students to our youngest learners at the elementary level, but also really reaching out to our community organizations and creating what we hope will be longstanding, strong partnerships outside of the core academic areas. And so later on in Dr. Skaza's report, like I said, we'll hear a bit about some of the proposals that we are currently reviewing from two of our businesses in town that we are looking to be able to offer our students some extracurricular opportunities through the fine arts. So oftentimes when we think about our extracurricular work, we sometimes can kind of get mired down in the typical, tutoring around reading and math and science, and those things are very important. And we're doing that too. But I think it's important to also kind of face the realities that sometimes it's the other things that gets our students really jazzed up about being in school. And so we're going to hear a little bit about that in just a few moments. So I wanted to just frame that out for the committee. And then the last item in my report is just our updated financial review. So you have the full report in your packet this evening, outlined by our approved budget, what's been expended year to date in each of our lines, the encumbrances, and the available balance. So if there are any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know.
Anything else? No? Okay, we'll move on.
Great. Thank you.
Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, Dr. Skaza. You're up.
All right, this was teed up nicely. Thank you, Superintendent DeFalco. And it is a big night for Atul. You will hear him commended yet again in my report. So I just want to briefly talk about before and after school programming for the elementary schools. The elementary principals have started to plan for, organize, and in some cases implement before and after school tutoring and enrichment opportunities for our elementary students. I should note that Principal Richards in attendance tonight has been right on top of this opportunity and has taken a lot of steps on top of everything else that she is doing for Richards School to make sure that before school programming is already up and running, and after school programming in that form of enrichment is just about to be up and running. So current examples of these offerings include before school tutoring program at Richard that provides math and reading support to students in grades 3 and 4. Students are selected for these tutoring sessions based on their fall NWEA scores. Everyone knows that's our universal screening tool for math and reading. Additionally, Richard School is beginning to plan for an after-school enrichment program for students in grade 5. We are currently exploring options for enrichment that include exploration with instruments and music in general. We are planning to expand these enrichment opportunities to all elementary schools. So as Superintendent DeFalco mentioned, fine arts, we are starting with rock and roll. And as you may or may not know, I have dabbled in rock and roll myself. Most recently played at the variety show the mayor was part of.
Yeah.
Shameless plug here.
It was great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I saw it. It was good. I appreciated it.
This is great because as Superintendent DeFalco, Principal Richards, and I were discussing that this makes it exciting for kids to come to school, spend a full day working at academics, and then have something to look forward to at the end of the day. So we have two proposals, as the superintendent had mentioned, that we are reviewing, and we are very confident that we will be able to get these programs up and running at Richer and at other elementary schools very shortly. Goodnow, Kane, and Jarwick have begun to structure either before or after school tutoring sessions that are run by a combination of paraeducators, educators, and in some cases, Marlboro High School students. In fact, our very own Atul Mador has taken the lead on assembling a fleet of high school tutors, currently 14 of them, who are coordinating with building principals to tutor elementary students in math and reading after the high school dismisses. Many of our high school tutors are multilingual and can provide language support in Spanish and or Portuguese while tutoring. I will continue to update the school committee on the status of these programs as we continue to get them launched and fully running. And I just wanted to mention that this is all organic and comes from an idea that Atul had from a school committee meeting when we were talking about the need to do everything that we could as a community to provide support to our students. And Atul came up to me at the end of that meeting and said, I would be willing to tutor and I would be willing to get a group of students to join me. And he did that very quickly. So with the support from Principal Serapina, we've already got a lot of the foundation in place to get this up and running. So kudos to Atul yet again. On the subject of Principal Serapina, the John and Abigail Scholarship list will be read tonight. Principal Serapina and our MPS leadership team would like to congratulate the following students on their John and Abigail Adams Scholarship. Commonwealth of Massachusetts has created this merit scholarship program to reward the hard work and achievement of Massachusetts students and to encourage those students to continue their education at one of our public institutions of higher learning.
Thank you, Dr. Scarza. So we're really excited. We had just over 60 students who got this honor. So if you would bear with me, I'll go through the names. Lucas Abendanzio, Kaylee Alexander, Elise Allen, Pedro Almeida, Nicholas Andrade, Angela Arroyo Camacho, Jason Batista, Victoria Bittencourt, Marisol Burgos, Caitlin Cabral, Jessica Cardoza, Lindsay Cifuentes Ortiz, Molly Culkin, Mateus De Souza, Kaylin Deneen, Vivian Dos Santos, Steve Falco, Devin Favreau, Alexandre Felix, Leticia Figueiredo, Mariana Figueiredo, Max Gaudet, Ash Gontars, Natalie Gulbankian, Hadley Haas, Matthew Hiltz, Javian Huertas, Jordan Jean Jacques, Joshine Gies, Anthony Jimenez, Isaac Lattis, Madison Leith, Anderson Lopez Castillo, Crystal Lozada, Riley McEwen, Kawan Machado, Tyler Manell, Tayden McDonald, Atul Mador, Skylar Monahan, Jack Morrison, Angelise Munoz Velasquez, Juliana Naranjo, Vladimir O'Connell, Marina Oliveira, Slok Patel, Caitlin Pham, Betsy Powell, Kyle Provost, Shayla Ramon, Eddie Rivera Burgos, Andrew Rodriguez, Kawan Rodriguez, Allison Ryan, Samuel Lucas Santana, Kawan Shore, Aaron Cedar, Chelsea Shaheen, Sierra Sweeney, Miller Tucker, Ryan Wood, and Edgar Zante Gomez. So we're very, very proud of all those students. That's a big list, and we congratulate them for all their hard work and success. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's one additional item under my report tonight, unless you have any questions for me about tutoring. I didn't allow time for that.
Sorry, not a question, a compliment. I'm so excited that you guys are doing this tutoring and doing like the peer mentoring. It's amazing. That's fantastic. Thank you. And thanks for getting it going and growing it, because that's just going to be a huge win for Marlboro and for our kids. Love it.
Atul, did you recruit all your friends?
So yeah, I asked around junior and senior classes.
So there are juniors, so it
Yeah, it
continue.
hopefully should.
They're not all leaving when you leave.
Exactly.
You're
but
very
yeah,
smart, Atul. I don't know if anyone told you that tonight.
I tried. I would just like to add though, I think from like when I was a kid, what really inspired me was like my brother, like, you know, how he showed me like, you know, what math could really be like way further and how abstract, and, you know, I could never imagine what it could do. But I think like setting an example of like, oh, look at all the cool stuff I've done. And like, you know, you'll work your way there, but this is the important stuff. I think that will set like a light in a lot of kids. Personally did for me. So just trying to continue that on. So
Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you.
The final topic from the Office of Teaching and Learning is on the English Learner Program, tiered focus monitoring. And Lynn Medalliou, our EL director, has joined us tonight to give a presentation on where we are at with our tiered focus monitoring review.
Hello, let me see if I can do this and turn around and still talk. Fix the microphone from my height. Let's see, maybe, I might need you. Hi, so yes, I'm Lynn Medalliou. I'm the EL director. I know most of you, but there's some new faces. And thank you very much for having me to talk about our tiered focus monitoring report. We also have some celebrations and then a whole lot of work that we want to talk about. So we will get started. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's working. All right. So there are 12. Oh, by the way, we talk about alphabet soup. EL is known for this. There's a gazillion acronyms, and I'm going to try to say what they all are, but just like raise your hand or something if I'm going too fast and don't tell you what they all are. So I'll start with ELE because there are 12 ELE, English Language Education criteria, that the state uses to see if we're implementing all the requirements related to our programs under state and federal laws. And so EL, of course, is English learner. And our data was collected from 2 members from DESE, the Department of Ed, had 2 people come and visit us. Last spring, we uploaded a whole bunch of information that they had requested. And then this fall, they asked for some others and then came on site and were able to look at our schools. And so this is just a little taste of the schools they got to see. They didn't get to see all of them, but they saw a good number of them. And then they did observations in many of those classrooms and then interviewed people. And we have some of our amazing EL leadership here as well to be part of our evening. And they also spoke with parent groups and student groups to really try to get the best idea of our program and how it was working and how we could get better. And there's one thing I forgot to mention that was on the first slide. One of the things they really mention is the importance that the students' entire day is teaching them English. It's not just when they have their English language ELD classes, but all day. When they're in math, when they're in social studies, when they're everywhere, it's part of their academic language as well. And so here, very, very small, but we have some data overview here that they looked at. Access is the test that the students take every January. It's an English language proficiency test. When the students take it, they get a score. When they get a 4.2 overall and a 3.9 in literacy, that is when they exit. And then we start calling them FELS, which stands for former English language students. And so you'll see that in there as well. And we monitor those students. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So the access test is very important. And they give us and the students a goal for the next year. And so they say, we would love to see if you could hit proficiency in 6 years. And in order to do that, here's what we want you to do in a year. And so then as a school, we always look at that data to look at how are they doing? Did they meet that goal? Did they not? And what can we do to help them along with that? Another acronym down there, ELSWD, is English learners, students with disabilities. And so I'm going to start talking about some of our glows. And you know what? I think I queued up, Dr. DeFalco, the previous presentation that might be a little bit longer. So I'm going to make sure as I talk, I'm going to walk away for a second, perhaps fix that. So I'm going to grab my computer. One of the great glows that we had this report was that our students, all grade bands from grade 1 to 12, did grow and achieve their growth goals at higher numbers than they had the year before. So those numbers went up, which was great to see. It's going in the right direction, which we love to see. With everything else, as you know, after the pandemic, there was a lot of concerns about students and having them make their gains, and so EL has been no different. And so we were really excited to see that, and I'm back. See, that wasn't that bad, actually. I'm going to hand you that, though. All right. And so we really want to celebrate that all those grade bands did have that growth. Another great celebration is most of our grade bands also maintained or improved with the number of students exiting, meeting that exit criteria. So that is also wonderful. because that's our goal. As much as we love them, we want them to leave our program, right? Another wonderful thing is, as mentioned with Liz's early college high school, is the Seal of Biliteracy. This past year, we had our highest number of students, 57, achieve the seal. That is a total of 137 since its inception. So we are very excited about that. A lot of work and a lot to celebrate.
Lynn, can you just explain for people what that is?
The Seal of Biliteracy?
I know what it is, but
Perfect.
other people probably
So the
don't.
Seal of Biliteracy is a special literal seal that you get on your diploma. You can get it or it with distinction, depending on your access scores, and then another test in another language. And so just this week, actually, we had some of the students start to take those tests for the other languages. And if they get a certain score, then it's on their diploma. And also, as they mentioned, colleges are starting to look at that as part of their enrollment, part of coursework and jobs. There's some scholarships you can get for it, and so it's pretty exciting.
Thank you.
All right. So we had 4 areas in our findings that we want to work on in the EL program. And I'm going to kind of go from the bottom up to the top. One is crossed out, FEL monitoring. So our former ELs, the ones who are exited with those access scores, they're monitored for 4 years. And we need to make sure we're doing that. Monitoring means that the EL department makes sure we reach out to classroom and content teachers to make sure they're doing okay. Make sure they don't need more support. If they do, the teacher says, could I actually talk about this student? Maureen McDonough right there is one of the people they might talk to and see if they need to be pulled back into the program or are there other supports we could give them. And so we do that for 4 years. It at first was on our finding because it was very interesting. We have a system that they said was a great system, and it's really working, where the teachers reach out twice a year, the EL teachers reach out twice a year, the content teachers, classroom teachers will even write in comments, and our people from DESE said every single folder that they were looking for that piece of paper, it was there, and not only that, was there were really thoughtful comments from the teachers talking about the students and how they were doing. During the interview process, some of the teachers were still confused on what the process was. So although we were doing it with fidelity, there was still some confusion around it. So we recommunicated, we changed the actual form to be a little bit clearer what it was. And so this is our draft period of these findings. We really want to come and talk to you early so we could get started on our action plan. We expect that one to be taken off of it because of that. The other one is interpretation and translation. The Department of Education now has training to have our interpreters and translators trained in 3 different tiers to make sure they are doing it the best they can, and there is sort of quality control, if you will. And so I've been in conversations with Jody O'Brien and with our Director of Translations, Daisy Race, and we'll be looking at getting our translators who do go through quite a bit of training when they join our team, but making sure that they get the training that the state wants. ELE6 is reclassification. Does anyone remember that acronym? FEL, right? So students should be reclassified when they hit those access scores that I mentioned to you. In previous years, access scores was only one of the criteria you could use. You could use other data, teacher recommendations, NUIA testing, other things. And the state switched that, and we didn't, so we need to. We didn't switch it, and so some of our students exited close to that score, and we thought, the teacher's like, we really think so, and some of them were farther away from that score. And so we're checking to make sure that, one, we're going to fix our systems, but also I've been looking at all those students, looking at their current data to make sure that they are actually, much like a FEL monitoring would do, but I really want to make sure they're doing well, and I'll reach out to their families, see if there's any concerns, and if there are, we'd bring them back into the program. But the one I really want to talk about the most is ELE5, because that's program and services. And so there's 4 areas I really wanted to talk to you all about this evening, about what we really wanted to work on, and we've already started the action plan for. The first one is Whitcomb School specific, so our 6th to 8th graders. And EL1-2s are students in the beginning of their language learning, so they're sometimes called beginners, and they get classes of English language development, of course, but we have really been placing a lot of focus on the ELD and as its own entity, separate from, outside of other classes, and not how it connects to literacy and grade level texts and tasks. And so that's what this first one was about. The EL 1-2s until this year were not in grade level ELA or social studies. This year we have them in ELA. And it's a really great system, and I love that Maureen is here because she's one of the teachers that's pushing into the class with them. The students are in their grade level classes, and it's co-teaching where you have your ELA teacher and an EL teacher, and the EL teachers only focus on one grade so they can really get to know that ELA curriculum as well. They have set common planning, which is important with the teachers, and so working at making that accessible to the students. We have not moved into social studies. Angela House is part of a cohort of a redesign that we're doing with DESE, and that is one of the number one goals we have for next year, to get them into that social studies class. They will then get their ELD at a different time. At Whitcomb, they have 2 different electives, so one of those we want to offer as an after-school for those students, so they don't miss. It's very hard to give kids everything and not miss anything, so we're trying to find where it has the least impact on their learning. The next one, as those of you who have been in the school committee for a while know, but I'll explain it to you. For the 2022-2023 school year and 23-24, we had a district-wide professional practice goal with all of our staff to really focus in on some strategies for EL students. It is very difficult for teachers of all grade levels to really, if you're a math teacher, for example, you know math and you can speak math, but to understand the language of math sometimes is this extra level. And so we've been working really hard on showing that. How do you speak like a mathematician, read like a mathematician, which they do naturally. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to teach, right? Because you don't even know you're doing it. So we need to continue supporting teachers in that work, in providing the differentiation for the students. And looking at it differently, we did everything large districts. So really we're looking now at going into PLCs, professional learning communities, to do it more at the lesson level in smaller groups. And also I was talking to all the principals and really wanting to have like EL specific walkthroughs, which we've done before, but really having that conversation with the administration as well before to talk about what are we looking for and make sure that we're all calibrated on that as well. So we're giving a consistent message. Down at the elementary schools, I'll talk about them for a little bit. They've been doing co-teaching for a while, a couple of years now, with the EL 3-4s. So if a 1-2 is a beginner, your 3-4s have a little bit more language behind them now, and they're starting to get into that academic fluency when you get into be a 4. So in the elementary, the students get their ELD during writing with their classroom teacher and an EL teacher. This is exciting. We love this method. But what we have to work on is really making sure we have standards, English language standards that are called WIDA. It's our sort of group that sets our standards. We need to make sure that those WIDA standards are lying on top of the writing standards, so they're getting both. We sort of have 2 content areas in one and need to continue working on that. And as I mentioned, at Whitcomb, we have that set up with common planning and everyone only really having to deal with one grade. At elementary, they're spread out a little bit, and we want to look at that and make sure we have the correct staffing to support co-teaching, which is really such a great opportunity to have the students not miss anything. So that is why it's on my most important list, if you will. Lastly, the one I want to talk about is EL support to teachers at the pre-K and K level. The state does not require EL services at that level. We do identify those students, and then we monitor them at the end of the year to see if they're still going to be EL students. The kindergarten students take that access test. But we as a district and the state, actually, it's also what they feel, is that those classrooms are language rich by definition, and all students are learning language. But what we want to do better is we haven't been supporting our teachers as much with really that one-on-one conversation of how to make sure that instruction is really taking into consideration the language. Maybe it's perfect the way it is, right? But we want to make sure that they have that support. So starting in January, Michelle Blair, who's the assistant director of EL, will be in their PLCs to start that work and make that connection right there. Those teachers know us, but this way they'll see one of us weekly at their PLCs to start that work and start monitoring those students a little bit more. So here are our next steps with our tiered focus monitoring. Did I miss any acronyms before I go on? Did I do it? Is your head spinning, maybe, with all the new information? A little bit. So we got our draft feedback summary. That's what I'm showing you now. In this little window, we have an opportunity to respond to them if we think anything was incorrect or we want to fix it, much like that FEL monitoring we were talking about, making sure they know that we communicate the forums. They will then give us a summary, draft their final report. As I mentioned, we've already started our action plan, but we want the whole district will be part of that as well to make sure, the EL students are such a huge part of our population. And then, of course, students who speak another language are 60%, I believe, is our percentage. And so we want to make sure that the entire district is up on our action plan because it will reach all areas. And then, as they always have, this happens every 6 years, by the way, our TFM. And so then our action plan, we set it up with what are we going to do by when and meet those. And they may come back out. It may just be electronic. But it's a lot of good work. A lot of stuff we're doing at the Marlborough Public Schools already. I've had ongoing meetings with the principals. Obviously, I'm working closely with the Office of Teaching and Learning and Student Services. We're creating, as I mentioned, those action plans. And then the work we're doing with Angela House, that redesign cohort with DESE has been invaluable because they also talk about staffing. And so that will be really helpful when we sort of look closer at our EL 3-4s down in the elementary school. So that was a lot of information really fast with a lot of acronyms. Any questions?
Yes, Michelle.
2 questions. One is, well, I'll start by saying thank you for bringing all this information, and it helps us to kind of gear ourselves towards when we start talking about the budget because it's going to protect,
Yes.
perhaps have budget implications. But my other question is can you just explain how the access test is is it like reading, writing, and speaking? What do they test
all
in the
4
access?
domains. So reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And so depending on the grade, some of kindergarten, for example, is a one-on-one. You almost, and they've changed it a little bit this year, but in past years, you play a game, you read a book, and you grade it as you go. From grades 1 up, the smallest kids, there's a pen and paper part of it, and the older kids do it online. And so one of the things that we've been doing in our department for a long time is we were noticing that our speaking scores tended to be the lowest, especially at secondary level. Students hate speaking into that microphone. It seems very awkward, they have said. And so we have a lot of speaking prompts now to get them sort of used to that, to get them to be able to speak as richly as they might to us to a computer. So they have all 4 domains.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Catherine?
Thank you very much for the presentation. I have to say, I feel like this is the tip of the iceberg of a lot of data that you got somewhere.
Yes, yes, it is. My first, the one I threw up first was like 462 slides, and yes.
Which I get may have been too much. It's like some of this makes me go, oh, I wonder what the scores were there, or where were we standing, or how many kids were actually affected by this. So, and that's probably my brain. I know I like way too much information, but I may hit you with a few additional separate questions. But just curious, because I feel like I remember 3 or 4 years ago, an opening day where you were heavily involved on talking with the staff about how we had to get this common language and that everybody really needed to kind of get on that base level together to be able to talk EL appropriate. Anyone else remembering that at all? Is that something that we're still trying to make sure that we're finding that common language everywhere?
Yes.
Because I kind of feel like it kind of ties in a little bit with our MTSS and with the, getting to all the tiers. We have to find that common language so that, because yes, it's 60%. That's a huge portion of our district.
Right.
We all better be talking about the same thing.
So yes, and we've had real glows, if you will, during that time. For example, there was a cohort from DESE working with our math department at Whitcomb, and one of their pieces of feedback was it was the best examples they've seen of supporting language in classrooms. So that was wonderful to hear. So there are people who definitely have embraced it and have they've fully taken it on and understand it. But it is like, and Michelle and I do this PD all the time. It's like the air we breathe, right? And you're not even aware of it. So, for example, if in a classroom, if a teacher is teaching cause and effect, a classroom teacher, right? The EL side of it would be to make sure that we're focusing on words like since and therefore and because and so, and the order of everything and really getting those words in there. And one of my favorite examples is a word as small as however. It could be, what was it? Or but. If you don't know that the word but signifies like the fact that now it's going to change. I felt foolish, happy but foolish. If you don't know that that but means that it's going to be something different, you have no idea, no way for context clues. So sometimes these itty bitty little words for our ELs are extremely important. And so it's a heavy lift, and a lot of people have done an amazing job, and we still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it just, I think back on the professional development conversation about where we need to have some of the PDs that are a little bit more like, sorry, this is a have to. This to me seems like this is a have to.
Yes.
Like we have to all learn this language so that we are not causing our own troubles.
What I really appreciate is all of the road map work we've been doing closely ties to what we've been doing in EL. For example, discourse, getting students to talk, right? In order for them to talk to each other, you have to teach them how to have academic discourse. And so it does. It helps bring that along, and it helps bring that language forward. We've been doing a lot this year in our groups of saying to teachers, write your own sort of exemplar answer. And look at that, because when you look at that, you're like, oh, now I see the language I need. Just taking that step of, and so language objectives is something that we say is a have to, and that is 100% trying to identify that language of your subject area.
Okay. And the only other thing that made me also was your thought about the curriculum and the kid and your age group getting involved with the elementary is we need to tap into our kids at the high school that have the language under their belt, and they can go be, the teachers at the elementary level.
Did I hear a lot of your volunteers were bilingual?
Yeah, a solid amount of them.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is like a no-brainer, like that we need to do that because it's going to empower them at the high school level and show role modeling for the younger ones. So we're crazy if we don't.
And as you were saying,
Like
nothing
that.
is more like impactful to a little kid than seeing like a big kid. They
Right.
love big kids. So
Well, and it's only going to help us because yes, you think about the budget and that the impact that we may need to have, but then we need to think out of the box about how do we leverage our opportunities that we have, and it would be our students that have found their way through, whatever challenges and create that opportunity of utilizing them and their skill sets elsewhere.
love it. Exactly.
All right, thanks.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Glenn.
Dr. Skaza, you're all set? Okay, all right, moving on. Acceptance of minutes. Minutes of the November 10th, 2025 school committee meeting.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve is on the table and seconded. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the November 10th meeting? Seeing none, all in favor? They are approved. Thank you. Moving on to public comment. Is there any public comment? Public comment for the second time. Seeing none. And lastly, public comment for the final time. Seeing none, I'll close the public comment section. Closed. Moving on to action items and reports. The acceptance of grants for FC 2517 fair share earmarks from the state for $200,000.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve is on the table and second. Is there any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor of the earmark? Carries. Approved. That was the only one, so we'll move on. Elementary enrichment opportunities.
Mr. Mayor, if it's okay, could the school committee pass over this? We're waiting on one more proposal from one of our community partners, so just want to make sure we have all the information before we bring forward. We were hoping to have it for today, so we put it on, but just hasn't come in quite yet.
Can I make a motion to table?
Motion to table is on the table. Would you like to second that?
Second.
Second. Okay. Motion to table. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none? All in favor of tabling? Is tabled. Thank you. Lastly, policy ILC competency determination.
Thank you. So the last meeting, you all had this policy before you. It is policy ILC, which is a new policy to be a standalone from the graduation requirements policy. You may remember that within graduation requirements, we had competency determination within there. It was a smaller amount, and DESE really felt the need that we needed to separate it out. So we need to get this accomplished. This has been worked on with our principal, Serapina, at the high school. This had both assistant superintendents involved, Dr. DeFalco, and our committee. So I'd like to make a motion to approve with the amendments that are before you.
Motion on the table and seconded. Is there any questions or comments or concerns regarding policy ILC? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to reports of school committee subcommittees. Do we have any reports? No? Good. Okay. Moving on. The members forum. Yes, Catherine.
I just wanted to say congratulations to those students that were and staff that were involved in dessert theater. It was really great. I was able to be there on Saturday. Michelle was with me. Yeah, the mayor was with me. You were on Friday. You were on Friday. So it was a lot of fun.
It's a great Saturday night date with the two of you.
It was.
Yeah, it was nice.
We just don't get enough time together.
We don't.
So
I
yeah.
loved every second. Truly something I'm thankful for. Yeah.
They did also make the announcement that the musical is going to be
Mamma mia.
Mamma Mia. So get ready because we all better get involved in that one.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure
Stop.
that you get the soundtrack
I've
so you can start
not-
working on it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
have not seen it. So that's why it's a little dig. But yeah. So
it's all good. And with a wonderful happy Thanksgiving wishes to everyone. I did want to make sure that people know that the football game is happening as always for Thanksgiving Day. So if you
it's in Hudson.
in Hudson,
In Hudson.
so there you go.
I would like to congratulate Miss Hennessy for her lifetime achievement.
Life membership.
Life
memberships, achievement membership. Well, the way they went on and on about you was definitely an achievement for sure. So we were at a school committee conference and she was inducted to the lifetime membership. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
We're very proud to be there to represent, and also to Michelle, who was elected on the committee. So secretary, if my memory is correct.
Secretary Treasurer.
Got it. So congratulations to that. So it's nice to see Marlborough represented at all the conferences throughout the district, throughout the Commonwealth. So kudos to the two of you in making the district proud. Anything else for members
I've
for
also reviewed the warrant
the warrant?
and we'll be signing.
I just wanted to share that I've really enjoyed and wanted to recognize all the different communications that are coming out from your communications department, Superintendent DeFalco. And for the public's awareness, if you've not seen it, I think everyone should get a chance to watch the first edition of Panthercast, which I thought was a great production from Marlborough High School. Keep it coming.
Excellent. Okay. Anything else?
Sorry.
Oh,
I had
a
one
tool.
thing.
Yes, a tool.
So yesterday
Talked
was
about you enough. What else do you want?
yesterday was the Powder Puff game between senior girls and junior girls, and our class of 2026 won
Excellent.
14-0. It's a great game, and our cheerleading performance, I was in the air holding a field goal while they kicked the field goal. So managed to do it great. But it was a great game. Great show of like community at Marlborough High School. I think it's super fun organizing it, practicing with the team, and like you could see all the work that the coaches did and the players, and it's a fun game. And Shayla, actually, who was here, was defensive player of the game and made some amazing plays. So shout out Shayla. But yeah.
Yes. Anything else? Okay. I want to wish everyone who's watching at home a very happy and safe Thanksgiving. It's truly time to be thankful for and to kind of reflect on that. So enjoy your holidays with your special someone. And on that note,
Move to adjourn.
there it is. Move to adjourn. All in favor of adjourning? Motion carries to adjourn at 8:58. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.